As dads and husbands, we have to ask ourselves the important question. Do I buy and play Crimson Desert now and ask for my wife's forgiveness later? Jokes aside, I'm actually very lucky to have a wife that's supportive of my gaming time, but we do have to be super selective on the games we buy, especially with ones as big as Crimson Desert, because the time that we used to spend gaming all night is now spent with our family instead. In this video, I'm here to help my fellow dads answer the big question. When the kids are asleep, is Crimson Desert worth your limited dad time, or does it fall flat? Look, I don't have 100 plus hours into the game like many of the reviews out on YouTube. I'm a dad, so I took off work the day after the game came out so I'd actually be able to jump in to play consecutive hours of the game. Since then, I haven't slept much, so I do have over 20 hours into the game, but I will be giving you my dad gamer perspective. This game has got to be the most frustrating game I've ever played, but there's also a ton of fun to be had. The good news is that the developers released a huge patch on March 23rd, which have addressed or at least minimized a lot of my frustrations I had with the game. So the fun, I think, does outweigh the frustrations. Crimson Desert is a massive game, and I feel like I've just scratched the surface. I mean, look at my map. I've only unlocked a small little pinprick of this game's world, the starting area called Hernand. And there are two worlds, the normal one and the Abyss. Estimates for the story alone could be upwards of 50 hours, with another 50 doing the side content with it. 100% completion, you could be looking at potentially 200 plus hours or more. That's a lot of your kids' nap time sessions strung together. This could be great news for some of you if you enjoy just sinking your teeth into one game a year, whereas this could be really frustrating for others, like me, who enjoy a healthy supply of different games to play throughout the year. This game is truly an open sandbox and thrives the most on exploration and discovery. The feeling I got was exhilarating when I first dropped out of the sky from the Abyss, seeing all the land and opportunities for exploration laid out in front of you. And the crazy thing is, you could see all the details, just like if you were looking out the window of an airplane as it's descending to land. With most open world games, I usually just blast right through the story, doing some side quests along the way, because I need to know what happens at the end. But for this game, I think you'd be doing yourself a great disservice playing it that way. Not only because exploration and discovery is this game's strong suit, but it also helps you to improve your character, and also because the story is a disjointed mess. I've gotten to the 5th chapter in the story, and this scene basically sums it up. Yeah, an absolutely drunken mess that's taken in all different directions. Where sometimes you just want to lay down and nurse that headache you have from your hangover instead of progressing the story. But this was expected going in because the devs had already talked about it before the game came out. The good news, though, is that you can absolutely accomplish things in short gaming sessions. Only have a half hour to get in a quick gaming session before you have to put the kids to bed? Or maybe your kids like to watch you playing games. No problem. There are a lot of G-rated activities you can do. Just avoid playing the story missions if your kids are within earshot, because the Grey Mains are quite the rowdy bunch. They drop a lot of F-bombs, and even a bunch of see you next Tuesdays, especially the character Jan. Side quests are usually fairly quick to complete, and story missions are split into multiple steps, so you definitely feel like you're making progress in short bursts. If there are things you randomly find while you're out questing, and you don't have time to do them, then you can mark any location on your map to come back to it later. This lets you stay on task to finish up your objective before you get interrupted. If you do though, this is an offline game, so you can literally pause it at any time, even right in the middle of a cutscene or a boss fight, so you don't have to come back to that infamous screen of death. And if you do die when you get back into it, you don't lose all your stuff. For bosses, you can retry the fight right away with all the items you had prior to dying, or you can instantly get back in the fight if you have the item to do so. If you do die in a normal fight, you'll respawn at a checkpoint that's fairly close by, so it lets you get right back into the action, and it keeps your progression. I was fighting in this quarry and had to clear out a massive amount of enemies. I died a couple times and came back. My percentage completion of enemies cleared was the same as before I died. Early on in the game, you'll be gallivanting around a lot on your horse, until you find and unlock the many fast travel points. Traversal will take a ton of time in the early going, so this may deter some dads from taking that big abyss leap into this game. I have to put the brakes on here to talk about the controls quick, because I don't know what the devs were smoking when they came up with them. Here's just one example. To sprint with Cliff, you have to continuously tap A, tap, 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 to get him sprinting, then X to jump. Then if you want to double jump, you have to hit X again. But that's also the same button for flying. So most times, Cliff just won't double jump at all. makes platforming way more annoying than it needs to be. But at least the developers have indicated they're working on fixes for the controls. Once you do get used to the controls, and you're able to cruise around with fast travel, the traversal does get a lot better. I imagine once you eventually unlock flying mounts, which I haven't yet, the massive map will feel much smaller and more manageable to traverse. The benefit of spending time on your horse does get you more adapted to looking out for all those little nooks and crannies of secret areas and puzzles, so it's not a complete waste of time. However, there are a lot of unnecessary time wasters in this game. A big one are fetch quests. There are a ton of them where you'll have to go to multiple places just to talk to people, then go to another location, have a conversation with that guy, then show up and give this guy something, and then go to the other location to finally complete the quest. There's also bounties which are nearly identical each time you do them. So you have to get through these lame, boring activities to experience the much more fun activities in between. These next activities in Crimson Desert are what truly make a player stick around, where the game truly shines. The endless number of points of interest and random encounters in this game you'll find are absolutely mind-boggling. Every time you log into the game, I guarantee you'll find something new and fun to play. This is where it's extremely fun just to run around the world to find these things. But this is a double-edged sword for dads, because you can quickly find yourself down a rabbit hole of these points of interest. Next thing you know, hours have gone by. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and you're thinking, shit, I need to get up in 4 hours, but I just want to keep playing. This has happened to me every night I've played since launch. One time I was just about to log off, and then randomly got shot in the neck with some pixie dust or something. My limp body was dragged away by these two little pixie children. I was laughing so hard during this. I was like, what just happened? There will be many moments like this in the game that you never really know what you'll find around the next corner. It's a constant mystery that keeps you coming back and wanting to further explore every inch of the map. You'll also stumble across quite the assortment of puzzles, ranging from easies to others that are a lot harder to crack. Some of them definitely had me stumped. After working all day and spending the night with the wife and kids, if your dad brain is cashed by the time you turn your gaming PC or console on, it might be best to look up some guides for those tough ones. Don't be ashamed, I definitely have. If you need to take a break from the puzzles and just want to smash some skulls in, then shift to some combat. I find the combat to be really fun and engaging. Combat is quick and not anything like a Souls-like game, which is very refreshing. You can use all kinds of different weapons, stay at range with the bow, or get in close with a shield and one-handed weapon, use a two-handed weapon, dual wield, or just use fisticuffs while mixing in grappling with enemies WWE style. Early on, the combat's very basic with light and heavy attacks, a block, and a parry, but it quickly morphs into a really cool in-depth system with each skill unlock when you activate these items called Abyss artifacts. The skill tree and progression is what really sets the combat apart from every other hack and slash action combat system. Each skill point can go into one of 3 different skill trees: stamina, spirit, and health. You can upgrade the base stats of those 3, or put points into new nodes that unlock a ton of different combat movesets, making each skill unlock very impactful, not just a slight upgrade or a passive stat boost. Plus, the spirit and health skill trees unlock skills that can be used in combat, using the spirit of nature, axiom force, and elemental imbuements. But they can also help you with traversal to move through the world more fluidly. My favorite combat move in the game is called the winch from the health skill tree, where you shoot out this magical claw that grabs an enemy and rips them towards you like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Get over here! Before chokeslamming them to the ground. The cool thing though is outside of combat I can use the same claw to grapple a ledge above me, then fling myself to it quickly to move up the cliff, or attach it and swing myself around in a looping arc. The diverse amount of combos that you can string together is astounding. You just have to remember the controls to do so, but it all comes together in a really satisfying way, along with Cliff's stoicism to make you feel like a one-man dad army. You aren't just paying the mortgage and bills, you're reaping the rewards and protecting your Greymane household. Another big unnecessary time waster is the inventory management. There's so much manual futzing around that you have to do that could have easily been an automatic mechanic in the games if the devs would have built it that way. You literally have to manually group items in your inventory, and once items are used for quests, you'll see the key item go from a purple color to white. Instead of the item disappearing, it takes up an inventory slot, which are very limited until you unlock more slots as you progress through missions, and buy additional inventory slots from various vendors throughout the world. It wouldn't be as bad if you had a storage chest at your camp you could put the items into, but they didn't even have this option on day 1 until they recently patched it into the game. I do have to give a quick shout out though to praise the developers for working so quickly on a patch. It goes to show they do care to keep improving their game for the players. Then you have other items like recipes or books that you can read, then they just uselessly sit in your inventory like the other items. You then have to either manually discard the items or sell them. Plus, for any new item that your character hasn't read or seen yet, there's literally a loading bar that says "Learning in Progress," and you have to wait for it to finish. You can't make this shit up. Just look at this. Here's a book where I had to learn each page. Do 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 do. And here's what it looks like now after the patch, thankfully. It's so much quicker. The inventory management could be the make or break moment for dads playing this game, especially if you're just looking to hop on for a little bit to get a brain break from the kids, to just smack around some baddies, but then you find out your inventory is full up when you search a dead bandit. Back to the vendor, I guess, to sell some stuff, or I have to choose what items to discard so I can pick up that sweet new gear. At least there's more of a one-stop shop once you unlock and upgrade your Howling Hill Greymane camp, so it does give you a centralized location for all the inventory management that you'll have to do. There are so many options in this game that I guarantee you'll find something you like. And the nice thing is, you don't have to do everything they give you in the game. Besides the story and combat, you can pick and choose your own adventure, and I think that's the freedom that so many dads look for in an open sandbox game. This game clearly has its frustrations, but I think those will continue to be minimized further as the developers put out more patches. For us dads, we don't have time to do everything, but if we do decide to, then this is likely the only game we'll be playing this year. There are so many things I've yet to experience in this game, but so far, I found a lot to enjoy that's definitely worth spending my limited dad time on. Honestly, I don't have any other game recommendations right now, because my recommendation will be to keep playing this one. But if you do decide this game just isn't worth putting all your dad time into, I've got you covered with some other shorter experiences to play. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.